That's going to be coming out at some point in time as well. I just finished working on a feature film not long ago called Fifth Passenger, which is a science fiction film, which has just been released. It's on Redbox back home, and it's on Amazon and a bunch of other places on digital platforms. They'll probably show a trailer of that, so you can see just some images of it behind us. So it's good. I'm also developing a couple of feature films with a couple of different producers back home as well.
Oh wow! Well, is there anything you can tell us about that at all? Or?
As far as those, one of the feature films I'm working on is called Proxima 7, which is also science fiction. It's about a mining colony, and it has a little bit to do with something similar to, historically, I think it was here in England, and this was the turn of the century, I want to say, if not the 30s and 40s. When you had the miners' strikes. I think you had strikes of miners and stuff here. So we are mining asteroids in this film, and it's a very kind of similar situation, almost a mirror of that, historically what happened between labor and the corporate interests at hand. So it's kind of a conflict between them, the two of them in the story. And the other one is a project called Myth, which is a sort of creature horror story, but based in Greek mythology. So that's the basis for it. It's kind of cool. It's very cool stuff.
Yes, that sounds awesome. Yeah. So these things are in pre-production at the moment?
No, they're just in development. We are working with 2 different producers on these projects. So each producer is now going to take the scripts and they're going to take them to the American film market. They're going to get a distributor and a backer for them, and that's basically their job to do that. I would be directing them, and I was involved in the stories and writing them as well. I don't want to do the producing part of it, because that's not very much fun. I enjoy doing that. I let somebody else who's really good at it do it. So hopefully they'll get it off the ground and we can work. Those take a very long time. It's a very long process. There's a lot of footwork, a lot of prep work, a lot of development work, and that's just the way things are. The episodic television stuff happens. It's like an assembly line, basically the call comes in, I go out and interview for it, they hire me, they don't. And that's always been continuous, and ongoing, so it's good.
So, talking about kind of episodic television, we're going to have to kind of get into Star Trek,
yes.
Which is, I guess, primarily what a lot of people will kind of recognise it from.
Right.
So, Voyager, is that quite a massive thing? Part of your life? Is it quite a massive thing in your life now?
Yeah, it was at the time, because it was it's a full-time acting gig for 7 years, and to be on a series for that long time, it does change. It changes your life financially, and also changes your life in terms of people who have watched the show and become fans of the show. In this particular case, because it happens to be Star Trek, the fan base is involved in things like conventions and gatherings, and they're very, very enthusiastic and very loyal. So the work, what you've done in the past kind of carries on for years after that, because you're still attending public conventions like this and meeting the fans who are still watching the shows, some of them for the first time. And unlike other shows like cop dramas and doctor shows, they don't really have conventions for those kinds of things. The genre of science fiction has this whole entire network of conventions and Comic-Cons and stuff like that, where sci-fi fantasy gets a lot of attention from gatherings like this. And that is different from working on any other show that I ever worked on,
It is quite astonishing, really, the amount of kind of warmth and love that you get from something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really devoted loyalty, which is unlike just about any other series out there, where people have their favorites, their favorite shows and favorite whatever, but there's not a community, I want to say, that follows that particular kind of show. Whereas Star Wars, Star Trek, and some of the big fantasy films have a community that gathers around them, and and we'll follow them, and we'll go to conventions and things like that, and meet the people who are in those shows. It's only those type of shows that have that. I don't know why, but that's the way it is.
Was that daunting, or was it quite warming knowing that you were going into something like that when you...
Hey, you know, I was going into it whether it was involved in that or not. It could have easily been Baywatch, you know. At the time, that I could have read for that show as well. It was a job at the time, and it was going to be going on for a number of years. So it wouldn't have mattered what was associated with it. I would have had to do it. So it's a solid gig, and you want to, as an actor, you want to work as much as possible, and that's the bottom line, really.
How did you get into Voyager then? Or was it just a simple...
No, it was a long process. I worked for the producers on the other two shows before that in guest star roles. So by the time this one came around, you know, they had already worked with me at least 2 or 3 times, and they were familiar with me, and they liked working with me, so they brought me back to read for that role. And I just happened to be right for it. You know, I could have not been right for it, I would have never done it. But it was a 7-year process for Voyager. It didn't happen overnight. Incredible.
Are there any questions out there? Because I'm very aware that there might be some questions out there.
Yeah, just down here.
I could. Oh, we've got a question here. Could you grab so could we grab a mic just for a second? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, technical issues. Just if we'll grab a mic. So one thing I did want to say was there any particular moments on Voyager that stuck with you, as far as, you know, any particular memories or something which...
I think that, I mean, for me, the opportunity to work with, initially on Meld with one of the actors from the original, what is it? From the Brad Dourif, from way back. Cuckoo's Nest was a thrill. It was a chance to work with him in a 2-part episode of Meld, and he's an amazing actor to begin with. So I had a thrill being able to work with him because I really admired his work prior to that. And I think that, and maybe near the end, you know, working on that last episode. Knowing full well that was going to be the last episode, it kind of stood out. Everything in between was, you know, just a lot of long hours, long days, a lot of work. Sometimes that work was monotonous, and it was tedious, and it was tiring because we had 16-hour days on average. And I think that the biggest thing about working in a show that I enjoyed was working with the people, the cast, my fellow cast members, and also the crew. Were just wonderful, and I look forward to hanging out with those guys and, you know, shooting the breeze with them and joking around and clowning around with them. That I enjoyed the most. So, to be honest with you, the rest of it is our television. It's single camera work, and it's a very long day. Very, very long day.
It was single camera as well.
Single camera.
For some reason I felt as though it was not multi-camera, but it had
that's single camera. And almost all those hour-long dramas are single camera. And, you know, they will have, on occasion, they'll have 2 cameras that they work with to shoot the show with. On our show, it was almost always 1, because they didn't want to spend extra money on 2 camera crews, which is what that is.
So then they could put it on the screen for...
Yeah, they'll spend the money elsewhere. Yeah.
So we did have a question down here,
yes.
Then, didn't we?
Have you, would you like to? Have you been asked to?
I haven't been contacted about the Picard series as of yet. The timeline works out okay, but it's up to the producers as to whether or not they bring any of us onto that show. It's possible they will, only because their timeline allows it. So if they write me into a story, you know, then they'll contact me and see if I'm interested in doing it. And yeah, that's a very good chance I'll roll in there and check out and see what they got going on. Could be fun.
There's more questions out here as well. Did I see another hand pop up? Oh, I know. Oh, here we go. Just down the front there.
Yes.
I see. Here we go. I'm intrigued about the script work on Voyager. Obviously, an episode coming every week. How long did you have with each episode, each script? How many scripts did you have in hand? And how often did you shoot?
It depends on what what season it was. Some seasons we had, 3 or 4 days, to work on the script before shooting. Other seasons, the script wasn't finished yet when we started shooting. And we had at least one season where we were behind. We would start shooting on Monday, we'd only have the first 2 acts of a 5-act script that were written. And so we started shooting before we knew how the story was going to end. That happened quite frequently. I think it was season 4, which is, kind of distressing for us and unnerving because, we don't know exactly what we're supposed to be doing later on in the story. And there was so many dialogue changes every single day, that we'd get 7 revisions, 8 revisions, before the end of the week. And so all that dialogue that you're memorizing is kind of last minute to get it done because they keep changing it. And it has to be spoken word for word. You can't change it. You have to ask permission to change anything on those kinds of scripts. Yeah.
Thank you.
Unlike other shows where it's loose, you can improv some things and you can do it a little looser than the way it's done. That show, no.
We've got a question just over there.
Yes.
Hi Tim. Did you ever meet Leonard Nimoy?
Yes, what now?
Did you ever meet Leonard Nimoy, Spock?
Did I ever meet Leonard Nimoy? Yeah, a couple times. I actually worked with Leonard Nimoy when I was in college. He came to the university that I was working at. I was going to school at, and he did a show there. So I got to work in a play with him long before any of this ever happened, back in the 1970s. And I spoke with him a couple of times. I met him a few times at a couple of conventions, but very briefly. Very nice man, sweet. He was very sweet. And he was a pleasure to work with when I was in school with him at the time when he came to my college. And he was great to meet. The last time I met him, the last time I saw him was at the dedication we had on Hollywood Boulevard. The star dedication was going to Walter. That's the last time I saw him. And shook hands with him and talked to him briefly. Very nice guy. Very nice. I will miss him.
Thank you so much. Have you got any more questions? We do one more question.
Hi, a bit nervous, but so I was always interested in the relationship you had with Kez in seasons 1, 2, and 3 because you were the mentor of Kez. How disappointed were you when she then didn't come back into season 4? Because I always felt that was a missed opportunity for you.
Well, it's as an actor, that was a contractual business decision that the producers made with her. And, at the time, it was something I couldn't do anything about. And I thought, well, we could have gone some places with that and developed it more. But it simply didn't happen. I missed working with her as an actor because she's actually quite good. She's extraordinary as an actress. I really missed that opportunity to do some more episodes with her as a fellow actress. That's what I missed. That's what I really would have liked to do. Story-wise, it could have gone anywhere because they're the ones writing them and we have to kind of follow along. But I kind of missed working with her and hanging out with her as a person. She's very eccentric, but sweet lady, very sweet. I miss Mr. President, sorry.
This is it. This is it. Yeah, it was very, very quick. We didn't have too long.
But okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having a chat with us. So there was quite a few things that you said at the top. There's a few things you wanted to chat about. So you said the Orville.
Yes, I worked on an episode of Orville, which is very cool. And the storyline of the character, I can't give you the story away, but the character plays a museum curator overseeing an artifact that they have found. It's a very cool story, very poignant story. And I can't remember if it was the A story or the B story in the episode, but it's a very poignant story. I really enjoyed working on that episode of it for that reason. The work itself was a pretty long day, and it was a pretty grueling sort of scene-by-scene shot because they do a lot of takes of everything. So, and Seth is very hands-on about the dialogue It's very hands-on about the shooting as well. So that was enjoyable. I've got a movie called Fifth Passenger, which is going to be released, like I said earlier. It's already been released on digital platform. It's a science fiction sort of space lifeboat type of story, which is very cool. I play a not-so-nice character in that. And it's some interesting social commentary as well in it. So it's a very cool piece. And then the other piece is Renegades, which is Star Trek Renegades, you can watch online. It's been out for a while. And that's it. And I did want to say, just as a heads up, I didn't vote for him.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for coming to Tuvok.
Things are a little rough back home right now. It's a lot of texting and a lot of catching up on emails. It's a little rough right now. Those times are kind of it's very tough. It's part of our, somewhat part of our history, but it's a mess. It is genuinely a mess. It has not been this bad in a very, very long time. I'm hoping it'll all turn around and it won't be the laughing stock of the world as soon as possible. We're working on it.
So
We're doing our best.
So Tuvok for president then?
Oh man. In comparison, you could run a turnip and it would do better.
Thank you so
all
much.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.